Lindsey Graham also recently introduced legislation to help bring PPE manufacturing back from China. Richard Heppell is the president and COO of SHOWA Group, which makes gloves used in medical procedures. Thank you so much for coming on to talk about this. And your company, it's expanded its production last year here in the U.S. Why did you decide to make your gloves here, and why not somewhere where labor would be cheaper, possibly?
Hey, Brianna, thanks for having me, and good question. SHOWA's actually been making gloves in the United States since the late 1980s, when we actually invented the world's first single-use nitrile glove, which is linked to the AIDS pandemic at that time. And we've continued to make gloves out of that facility in Fayette, Alabama, to this present day. Actually, ahead of the COVID crisis, we'd seen a real big demand in our products continue to increase, as we also now have a biodegradable single-use nitrile glove. So we decided to expand that Alabama factory really to service the US domestic supply ahead of COVID. And of course, now COVID hit, the demand has gone through the roof.
And you continue to be innovative as well with your product. What do you say to hospitals and other healthcare facilities who say they already have an established relationship with Chinese manufacturers or another company, and they can't afford gloves made in the US?
Yeah, part of the goal for us is to try to, obviously, of course, narrow the gap between the US and Asia. Really, we need to see less dependency on Asia. There's about 99% of the gloves used in the United States for frontline workers are sourced from APAC regions, predominantly Malaysia, China, and Thailand. And of course, that exposes the Americas, if PPE shortages, if there's trade wars or anything as such. So we're trying to make sure that the US government know that we've got a domestic facility here. We're bringing in the latest high-speed monorail production lines that will produce 3 times more gloves per hour than our existing facility. So that will definitely help, bridge the gap between the cost differences in Asia and the US.
How can U.S. manufacturers really become more nimble and make some of the changes needed when something like this pandemic hits? What are some of the lessons learned? God forbid we have to go through something like this again.
Yeah, I mean, making gloves isn't as easy as making masks, that's for sure. You need a lot of expertise. There's many different, critical factors go into making gloves. And we've been doing this for decades. So luckily for us, we're able to adapt very well. We have, good domestic supply of raw materials. We've got a great, highly experienced manufacturing team in Fayette, Alabama. And I think the key to this is making sure that, you continue to invest in new technology, keep an eye on what's happening in Asia, and then try to really make sure we stay ahead of that curve here in the US to keep us competitive. And doing that, which we're successfully managing to do right now, means we can create more jobs for the Americans and indeed protect our existing workforce. So it's a really, good combination.
Well, Richard, we wish you the best, and thank you for doing all the work that you're currently doing with your company. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.